We've got a quadratic here. It's an N-shaped quadratic and it intersects the line y equals c, a horizontal line, at exactly 1 point. What is the value of c? Well, if this N-shaped quadratic is going to meet a horizontal line at only 1 point, it must meet at its maximum. So there's an N-shaped quadratic, and if this horizontal line y equals c is going to meet at 1 point, it must be here. So we need to find the maximum value of the quoted quadratic here. And one way of doing it is to complete the square. So first of all, I've got to take a negative sign out of the first two terms. So this is x squared minus 9x minus 100. So now we can complete the square of what's inside the square bracket. So we halve this coefficient, so this is going to be x minus 9 over 2 squared minus 100. I've left a space here because if you multiply these two brackets out here, this term is generated and this term is generated by the two underneath multiplications, if you imagine those two brackets multiplied together. But when the numbers are multiplied, in other words, negative 9 over 2 multiplied by negative 9 over 2, we get positive 81 over 4, which we don't want because it's not here. So I've got to take that away immediately. It's a sort of waste product from the completed square bracket. Okay, taking the square bracket away, we've got negative x minus 9 over 2 squared. This is going to be positive 81 over 4 minus 100. So this is going to be equal to, this is unchanged. Let's do a little bit of side work here. 81 over 4 minus, well, if we multiply this by 4, I get 400 over 4. And this is equal to negative 319 over 4. So this is take away 319 over 4. And if you notice, that is one of the answers. But let me explain why. Any squared term, this guy here, is determined to be positive. But with the negative sign, this turns this positive term negative. So in a way, this pulls the graph down whenever it can, away from its maximum value of negative 319 over 4. The only time it can't pull the value of the curve down is when this bracket itself equals 0. And that happens when x is equal to 9 over 2. So we now know this point, even though we don't need to know it, is 9 over 2. X is equal to 9 over 2 when the quadratic reaches its maximum. Writing our conclusion out that c is equal to negative 319 over 4. And that's option C.